Now, if you're Mark Davis, here's the reality. You're in Vegas. Anyone, I would imagine many people listening to this have been to Las Vegas. Special place. I love it. I have a lot of love for the Vegas Strip. I really enjoy it. When I was scouting, I used to stay. It was kind of my hub. I used to spend a lot of time there. And I wasn't even allowed to really gamble at the time. I liked it. I can go into a casino and just eat. I like walking around. I like the noises. I like the lights. I like how cold it is. I like everything about casinos. I've been liking casinos since they legally allowed me to enter. Cache Creek, Indian Bingo and Casino, back when me and my friends in high school used to sneak in and play blackjack when I was like 15, 16 years old. Love a good casino. It's a bright light stars place. And it goes back well before I was born. Guy my dad used to work for, was in the casino business back when guys like Ali and Elvis, this is in like the 70s, the end of their careers. And it has continued till now, till Celine Dion's bright light stars. And now sports are coming there. You better win. Because if you don't win, not only will no one give a shit, that arena is just going to be complete outsiders. And that's what Vegas, the Raiders have become, right? Because they're so shitty that when they play the Chiefs, when they play the Broncos, when they play the Bears, the Steelers, it's a home game. That's all it's going to become, is a home game. And I think if you're Mark Davis, you got to swing big. And here he's proven this before. Listen, was John Gruden nowhere near the hype? 100%. Didn't even sniff what we thought it was going to be. I thought he was going to be awesome. And he was terrible. I mean, he was well over his head. But I do appreciate that you can't dispute that many other franchises in the NFL and in college were lining up for years trying to hire John. And Mark Davis had to pay a tax, basically, and his tax was that 10-year contract. But he took a big swing. And I admire anyone. That's why I'm so hard on Dean Spanos. It's like, Dean, you didn't build this shit. You have nothing to do with SoFi Stadium. You had nothing to do with the purchase of this franchise. Your grandpa and father are the ones that made all your money in your family. Now your family has more money than they ever dreamed of having, and they were already rich, and you're so afraid to ever use it. You love getting these cheap coaches, and then you complain when you always lose. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's just the same thing over and over. Well, look in the mirror, bro. Cut a bigger check. Take a big swing. And there's no guarantee just because you hire a big-name coach it's going to work, but he never does. And if I'm Mark Davis, I got to go big game hunting. And obviously Jim Harbaugh, who has connections, who got his start with the Raiders, makes a lot of sense. I think it's pretty clear with this cheating scandal, he's not going to be there long. I think it's fair to say it would be shocking if Jim Harbaugh is Michigan's coach next season. If this cheating scandal had never existed and Harbaugh had signed some massive contract that Michigan was about to put in front of him, maybe $15 million a year, I would say, yeah, it's probably not even an option. But the moment a picture goes viral, and I've known Jim McElwain since Fresno State, of that dude in the Marines, thank you for your service, standing on the sideline right behind the coach of Central Michigan as they're playing Sparty, Jim McElwain worked for Jim Harbaugh. Like, I mean, you can deny it all you want. Listen, I don't pretend to be a detective here. Not hard to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Jim Harbaugh, his Marine, they were honestly nothing but respect for how deep they went into this cheating scandal. I just saw someone say that, listen, no problem with stealing signs, but when you do it to the level they're doing it, you basically know everything's coming. And when you have better players, it's not a fair fight. And Michigan has been kicking the shit out of everybody since this Marine kind of got on the sideline. I defended him. I said, I think a lot of people are doing some form of this. Nobody, I don't think, was going to the level of getting former employees to give you a hat and a T-shirt wearing their logo as you're playing their rival. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And I know McElwain denied it. And listen, I'm not pointing fingers here, but I don't think it's that hard to put two and two together on this one. So to me, Jim Harbaugh, I don't think they can hire a coordinator. I don't think you can just do Josh McDaniels part deux, Dennis Allen part deux. Like Ben Johnson, for as awesome as he's been with the Rams, or excuse me, the Lions, I don't think you can do that. Like when the 49ers hired Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay was hired, it obviously has worked out, but I don't think you can risk that. You need something that you know. And I heard Colin say, Harbaugh's 100% locked to work. He's worked every single place. San Diego, Stanford, the 49ers, Michigan. He's 4 for 4. Like there are no failures, right? And to me, if you hire Harbaugh, like, he's going to work. Now, win Super Bowls, who knows? Just get to the playoffs back-to-back years. Mark Davis would be doing cartwheels down the strip. I would think another name, and I heard someone on the internet say this is way risky because he's starting to get his ass kicked. I do think from a bright lights, and there's a Gruden aspect, and there's a salesman aspect. I think Deion Sanders, that would be incredible. That would feel very Vegas. It really would. Now, we'll see where they end up picking. Maybe they could pick a son. But Deion Sanders, Vegas, that feels a little far-fetched at this point in time. Again, every time you look up on Saturday, as they've been to Pac-12, they're getting worked. I mean, UCLA just destroyed them. They still have a lot of tough games coming up on their schedule. They're not going to win. So, but I'd be all for that. And then I think the other one is if Belichick becomes available, and listen, I know, well, the Belichick tree, he is the tree. Like, Belichick knows what he's doing. Like, these guys clearly don't. I think you would entertain that if you're Mark Davis. I also think you could sell that. Even if it was just for 4 years, he's given out these massive contracts. That's the other thing Mark Davis has done. You can say he's a bad businessman, but I think he has to pay somewhat of a tax to get people to come to his franchise. He had to give Gruden 10 years, $100 million, because that was the only way to get John Gruden to come to the Raiders. Otherwise, he was going to go to Tampa Bay, right? The only way to get Josh McDaniels, who kept turning people down and was making a ton of money for Belichick, was to give him and his general manager 6 years. It's why, like, listen, I've been fired before. I was making $50,000. My contract ended. Like, what was I going to do? I didn't have any money. The only thing I'd ever worked in football. Like, I was 28 years old. Like, it was tough. I mean, it was very scary time. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for Josh McDaniels at all. He's got another 30, 40 million coming to him. He's already a multimillionaire. Same scene with Ziegler. You get fired and you have 4+ years on your contract at 7 figures a year. I mean, Ziegler's probably making a couple. Josh is making 10+. Like, give me a fucking break. I don't lose a second of sleep. Even Mick Lombardi, I would imagine, was making $1 million, has a 3-year contract. Like, you're not screwed in life. You got a lot of options. Even if you got to take a year off, you got cash coming your way. Now, this is going to have big ripple effects. Guys at the bottom of the totem pole are going to get fired. The guy making $80,000 or $90,000 or $100,000 that doesn't have a multi-year contract and might not know that many people in football, that sucks. I feel for those people. But I never have any sympathy for the guys at the top of the food chain who deserve to get fired and get fired with a lot of money coming to them. Like, that's called the fucking American dream. You're going to get paid $1 million to go play golf. Like, whenever I see that, these people are humans too. Well, yeah, maybe they're kids, but Josh, go to the fucking gym, get to the elliptical, mix in a salad, and get your shit together. Because what we just witnessed, what you forced on us again was, I mean, what I had to witness on my couch and everyone listening to this on Monday night was a waste of my 3.5 hours. It really was. And obviously the players turned on you, and reports were that players were going to dinner with Mark Davis over the last week. It's pretty clear what they told him. Get this guy the hell out of here. And to Mark Davis's credit, he did.